What's the point of owning stocks in the case of monetary financial crisis when currencies are headed to zero? Well, but currencies are headed to zero, not the stocks, right? When you own a stock, you own a business, you own an asset, right? It's like owning real estate. Now, you can own a piece of real estate yourself, or you can own a REIT. You can own a corporation that has a real estate portfolio. So I can either start my own business, or I can invest in somebody else's business by buying shares of stock. Those are real things. Look, the hyperinflation in the Weimar Republic, Germany, right, wiped out the Reichsmark. But companies didn't get wiped out. Look, I mean, Mercedes, Daimler, that they were around. They were making tanks back then, or cars before World War II, before the Weimar Republic. Even companies in Zimbabwe survived. Some of them they didn't get nationalized, but in Argentina, you own a real thing when you own stock. And so if you get hyperinflation, yeah, maybe a stock you bought for $100 a share will be $100 million a share, right? But you're still going to own that stock, right? And your dividend is going to go up. It's a real thing. So it is a hedge. Excuse me. But of course, you have to own a good business. You can't just buy the type of stuff that's been going up. In this mania, with low inflation and low interest rates, people were betting on tech stocks. They were buying storage. They were buying hype. They were buying earnings 50, 100 years from now because interest rates were zero. There was no discount rate. So forget about that. Those stocks ain't going to work. The stocks that are going to work are basic businesses that are not sexy stories, that are real, right? Companies, again, that are selling stuff and paying dividends. But the best values are going to be overseas, because there you're going to get the added benefit of the foreign exchange. Because if the dollar goes way down against these other currencies, then the prices are going to go up a lot more. What do you think about the Verscon PAMP gold bars? Not really sure what those are. It sounds like the Van Camby bars. Those I like. I promoted them a lot when I first started selling them at Schiff Gold, but I'm not really sure about this other type of gold bar. Oh, Val Camby. Okay, yeah. All right, so yeah, I liked it. Yeah, that it sounded like Van Camby. Whoever was typing it up, I don't know how it got typed up that way. But yeah, I mean, those are great little bars. I did a video, if you just Google it on YouTube. But you can take a bar of gold and you can break this into 50 little squares. Each one is a gram, so it's a 50 gram bar. It's like a card, and then you can peel off little grams, and then you can use them as barter. But again, I think it's even better to have the digital currency backed by gold, because then you can break it down into tiny little specks, and spend those. And of course, in order for me to spend the Val Camby, I got to be able to hand it to people. So I can't send it to somebody, in Australia unless I want to mail it to them, right? Which is going to take some time to get delivered, and maybe it'll get lost in the mail. But if I can transfer the ownership digitally, instantaneously for free, or practically free, that's a better way to do it. But what I really like too is just the barter bags. I sell a lot of 1 ounce silver rounds. I think those are more ideal for in-person transactions. Because at some point in time, and it may be very soon, we're going to have price controls in America. No question in my mind that we're going to get price controls when prices really start to go out of control. They're already doing that in the UK with energy, but it's going to happen here. We did it in the 1970s, so we're going to do it again. And when there's price controls, there's shortages, there's black markets, and the black market currency of choice is probably going to be silver. So if you want to buy stuff in an economy where there's rationing and shortages in black markets, you better have yourself some silver. So you can call up Schiff Gold and tell them you want a barter bag. We sell those. Silver's still, now it's back above $20 an ounce. Almost 21. It was down at 16, 17 bucks last month. But remember, silver was at 50 bucks in 2011. Hell, it was at 50 bucks in 1980. So, 20 bucks is still a steal for an ounce of silver. I don't like to talk about the individual stocks. I am, though, going to be giving up. That's something that I want to do. And hopefully by next year, I'm going to be giving up all of my FINRA licenses. And then I'll be able to talk more freely about individual stocks. You know, I'm tired of these government regulations. They really, you know, encumber the things that I can say. I'm tired of dealing with them. And so I will be able to speak more openly on individual stocks once I'm no longer a licensed stockbroker. Now, people think, oh, if I'm not a licensed stockbroker, how am I going to work with you, Peter Schiff? Well, I really haven't been getting on the phone and giving stock recommendations to people in years. What I've been mainly doing is helping manage portfolios. I don't need those licenses to do that. I only need those licenses to earn a commission on a stock transaction. And I really haven't been doing that in years, but I've still been a licensed member anyway. And I do have people that have been working for me that have been engaging in those transactions, but I have not been doing it personally. So I'm going to be distancing myself. Thoughts on Xing's announcement of dumping U.S. bonds? I read that, I retweeted that. Look, you never know. The Chinese talking about dumping dollars. They've got a lot of dollars to dump. They've got over $1 trillion. So does Japan. The yen is getting killed. Chinese RMB is going down. The only way these currencies can go up is if they start selling their dollars. They start selling their U.S. treasuries. And what does that do? That pushes the inflation back to America, because now the dollar starts to go. Interest rates start to go up. I mean, the world has been, you know, propping us up. We've been exporting our inflation. They can send it back to us by intervening in these currency markets, but by not hoarding U.S. dollars, moving away from the U.S. dollar, moving out of U.S. treasuries. Now, the Chinese were making some noise about doing that. I don't know. I mean, I've always thought that if they were going to do it, they wouldn't telegraph it first. They would just do it. You would find out that they did it after the fact. You would see the collapsing dollar. You would see the collapsing bond market. They wouldn't be talking about what they're going to do, right? Why would you do that? If you were planning on making a big sale, you wouldn't alert everybody that you were going to do it, because then maybe you wouldn't get a good price. People would start front running what you had intended to do. You want to take the market by surprise, right? You don't want to telegraph what you're going to do. You hope nobody notices it, and you get to do it, you know, without anybody figuring it out. But of course, they're such a big player that if they really start to meaningfully move out of the dollar, people are going to figure it out. But you figure they want to get rid of as many dollars as they can before the word gets out that they're selling. Same thing with their treasuries. When your predictions come to pass, will owning GLD actually help protect my wealth? Yes, I think it will. Now, the risk is that GLD doesn't actually have the gold. That's not, the risk isn't zero. I don't know how high it is. I mean, I assume that the accounting is honest. But again, you know, you don't have to take a chance. You don't have to buy GLD, just buy the gold. It's not hard to store. I mean, we'll ship it to you. You can store it, you know, at Schiff Gold, so you don't have to do it at GLD. You know, or you could get into, again, like, you know, somebody mentioned the Kinesis platform. I mean, there are other ways of owning gold with a third party than having to trust an ETF. But, you know, you could have some of your money there. I just wouldn't have anywhere near all of it there, just in case. I mean, you might as well protect yourself and diversify where you custody your gold, and custody some of it